And we are live. What's going on, everyone? We're back with another weekly live stream. Planning, I was planning on doing a debate review today on what was it? James White versus Dale Tuggy. I'm gonna try to do that next week, and probably have the live stream like set up beforehand. Hopefully, like days beforehand, so people know that it's coming. Um, yeah. So I'm hoping to do that. James White versus Dale Tuggy. I have not finished watching the debate, which is why I decided, you know what, maybe it's the best not to do it today because I want to watch the whole thing and just see how everything played out fully before giving my thoughts. And I don't want to just, jump in without knowing what the heck is going on, where I think the debates, because sometimes I think there's a certain point where I feel like the debate was basically over. When someone concedes something that's massive. Um, did you watch James White versus Voice of Reason? I have not watched that. I was going to watch it at some point, I think, but I just decided I'll do it later. I think it was like about to take a nap or something, and then I just never got to it. Um, I have seen a clip of Voice of Reason saying something about uh, what does he said? He said something about how to refute Roman Catholicism, and yeah, I don't usually watch. I don't always watch the Roman Catholic versus Protestant debates. Maybe I should start doing that on my own time. Just watch and learn. I could learn. But anyways, yeah. Just cleaning my glasses here. We're gonna get started in a second. And so yeah, I'm doing that hopefully next week, Lord willing. Got some plans. I got some plans. We're gonna start the Bible study series again. We're gonna pick it up with John, and we're gonna cut off not cut off. We're gonna take a break from Genesis and Job. We'll cover that maybe another time. The problem was I didn't study enough for those books, and then I was trying to do both of them at once, doing a chapter by chapter and then verse by verse, studying them, and it was too much on me. And so I just needed to kind of take a break, step back, and think, okay, how am I gonna do this? And so I made the poll. Obviously, I made the poll on YouTube, and I kind of gave the option to the audience. Which one do you want to see me do? It was just gonna be one. I'm not gonna do not two books at once. That's just too much on me. So ultimately, well, the first poll I did, it was a tie between John and Romans. I did a second poll with four options. We're either going to do Proverbs, Job, because I learned a little more about Job, John, and then Romans, and John went out. So we're going to do John. Uh, John doing John. uh, yeah, I think that will be good. And that prologue, we're gonna go deep into that. So how it's gonna work? I'm gonna do a presentation for a introduction to the book itself. I don't know if I'll do it live. Probably not live. It'll probably be recorded so I can fix my mistakes. Dude, my dog is going. I think my aunt is here, like causing him to, it's just making him bark. She always does that when she comes here. And it like aggresses him. Anyway, so where was I? This is distracting me. So yeah, when we do John, I'm gonna do probably a video giving the introduction. I also do it. Okay, I'll also do it in shorts format. I'll make shorts. I'll make shorts, kind of going over the introduction to John, like who and it'll be like quick, and I'll do that throughout the book as well. We'll do like John 1:1, in its shorts form. So I'm planning to do live streams to do the chapters, right? So that won't be as in depth. We'll be there for maybe 40 minutes to an hour, walking through the chapter, right? Um, for the videos, I'm planning to go the most in depth in the videos. So my plan is, for example, John 1:1, we're gonna spend an entire video just on that verse because it's deep. Um, but for other parts, like maybe we might do an entire chapter in one video. Depends on the depth I want to go into. And obviously the shorts are going to be, like minute to 2 minutes, kind of going over different things. Some of them might be, uh, some of them might be two verses at once, depending. I'm trying to keep them just relaxed, just kind of give you a quick understanding of the text through the shorts. But if you want to go more in depth, you can listen to the live streams where I'll go chapter by chapter, and then obviously I'll do the videos where they're going to be the most in depth. So that's kind of the plan right now. With that, I'm also planning to do a video with Bible Lover 1234 on the angel of Yahweh, or the angel of the Lord. And so basically with that, we're gonna argue that, number one, the angel is the second person of the Trinity, in the sense that he's Yahweh, right? He is God. I will probably do 2 passages on that. I don't know, because I'm trying to balance it so that we can get all the, make all the arguments. We'll try to argue that the angel of Yahweh, is the second person, not just some fourth person or whatever, right? This is the Son. And then we'll probably respond to a few objections, like, well, how can an angel be God, or the divine agency objection. Oh, goodness. I dropped something. Yeah, so that we'll probably do that. I have to get to preparing it. I'm really bad with these things where I just never get started, or I get started kind of late. But yeah, I got to work on that. I talked to Bible Lover. He is down to do it. We just got to figure out a time. I got to figure out where I want to go with it also. So I got to choose, like, what objections do I want to answer. I'll probably set up a StreamYard recording session, like after the stream here, and then kind of write, because you have notes on StreamYard now, so you can just kind of do that. So yeah, that's probably what's gonna go down. Got 4 viewers. Stream's doing good today. I did put a story on TikTok, so I guess that's why it's getting views. Anyways, so let's get to some comments, shall we? Let's have some fun with. Oh, actually, before I go on, there we go. Okay, good. So that we can get questions if need be. All right. Now it's probably gonna. I'm already logged in, so then why the heck is sleep hours now? Seriously? At this hour? All right. I don't remember exactly. Oh, goodness. I'm just gonna have to go to notifications for this. It's gonna be some wildness here. What the? That's it? Oh no, comments. Come on, man. I'm trying to find the first one here. I think. No. Hold on. No. Bear with me 1 second. 1 second. I promise. As soon as I find the right thing. Okay, there we go. We're good. All right. You guys can see me. I'm gonna share the screen in a second. Let me get Bible Gateway open, because we got to open a few passages. Actually, I'll open that afterward. All right, I'm gonna share the screen. Let's go here. Dude, what the heck? All right. So we have Child of Yahuwah, who commented 3 passages trying to prove the doctrine of ineffable name. And, just in case you don't know what the doctrine of ineffable name is, it's essentially the doctrine from the Hebrew roots movement that argues that, or not argues, but it states that God's name is sacred insofar as that you're only supposed to use the original pronunciation of the divine name, which is Yahuwah, and then the Messiah's name, or Mashiach, because I don't even know if they like Messiah, which is the English way of saying Mashiach. We'll say transliteration more so, because the English way would be anointed one. But anyways, so yeah, insofar as that's God's name is sacred, so you shouldn't pronounce it wrong or place titles in front of it. So if you say God instead of Yahuwah, that's a sin, right? And then you're not believing in the true God. They would consider that heresy, essentially. I find problems with it, lots of problems. I mean, I have a whole video on it. The case against the ineffable name. You can look that up under my channel, and you'll find it. And yeah, but anyways, actually, someday I am planning to make a playlist. I don't know if you guys know Truth Unedited. He has a playlist testing Christianity. I'm gonna do the same with the Hebrew Roots movement eventually. I don't know when. I probably want to finish doing my series on him first, and then maybe we'll explore that. It'd be fun. So yeah, this guy comments John 5:43 to prove the doctrine of ineffable name. So we're gonna open John 5. All right, we're gonna open John 5. Okay. So we're gonna look at the chapter. We're not just gonna look at the verse. We're gonna look at the chapter. Well, not all the chapter, but I'm gonna open John 5 so we can look at the other parts of the chapter when we need to. So John 5:43, and his argument is basically this. So it says, I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you'll receive. So notice, Jesus says he comes, or we say Yahusha comes in his Father's name. But who's the Father's name? Yahuwah. Therefore, he has to be named with his Father's name imprinted on his birth name. Since Jesus does not have that name imprinted in it, therefore, can't be the Messiah. That's basically the argument. Now, if you go, let's read chapter 31. It's not chapter 31. Verse 31. If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. So notice, Jesus says that if he bears witness of himself, right, by himself, then he's not true, right? He's false. So what is the point Jesus is making? He says there's another who bears witness of me, and I know that the witness which he witnesses of me is true. That's the Father, right? So what's going on here in the context? When it says the name, it's not referring to his birth name. It's authority, right? That's how the name, that's how the word name oftentimes functions in Scripture. Authority. So Jesus comes by the authority of the Father, and you see that all throughout the book of John. He comes by the authority of the Father, and so therefore, wait a minute, where was I? And so therefore, when he says in verse 43, I come in my Father's name and you do not receive me, he's essentially telling them, I come by God's own authority, but you reject me. But if someone else were to come by their own authority, then you would accept them, right? So that's what that means. It's not saying that Jesus comes with the name Yahuwah imprinted on his birth name. That's ridiculous. Let's see here. He quoted a few passages, so we're going to walk through these passages. Oh, wait a minute. What the heck? We got Hosea 2:16. Now we're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Okay, so Hosea 2:16, and it shall be in the day, says Yahweh, that you will call me my husband and no longer call me my master. So the Hebrew Ishi, and then the Hebrew here Bali, right? And so the argument basically is, well, Yahweh or Yahuwah says here that you will no longer call me Baal, but the word Baal means Lord, so you can't say Lord anymore. Now, already we have a problem for the doctrine of Nephilim name because there's a title here. He says, you will call me Ishi. That's not Yahuwah. So the exclusivity of saying Yahuwah is already refuted. Why? Because he says, you will call me my husband, which is Ishi in Hebrew, not Yahuwah. So if we were to say Yahuwah, right? If Yahuwah is supposed to be what we say until the day we die, why does he say you will call me Ishi? Why does he say you will call me Yahuwah? Right? So there's a problem there. Now the other thing is in 2 Samuel, I don't remember the exact passage. Is my Bible down here? It's not. Let's see. I'm gonna open up the word. I'm gonna look up for the word master, and it's in 1st or 2nd Samuel. I don't remember exactly which one. Maybe 1st Samuel. Let's see. Okay. I don't think it's here. I think it's in 2nd Samuel. Bear with me 1 second. I want to find this one. I know I read it here somewhere. Okay, that's weird. Hold on. Is my Bible in there? I don't think it's in there. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, I am. What the? Ad block. What the heck? What the heck? All right, I'm back. I'm looking for it right now. I don't remember if I have it highlighted. I know there was a footnote, so I'm gonna look for it somewhere in here. First Samuel. I'm just gonna look at the footnotes. Okay, hold on. Bear with me just one moment. All right, I apologize for the wait. This is gonna be worth it because there's a point that I'm gonna make. Okay, these are textual variants. Okay. I don't know if it's in First Samuel here. It might be in Second Samuel. I think that's where it was. 4:4. Oh no. Oh, this is it. Oh, is that it? Wait, no. Okay, well, this is similar. This is somewhat similar. I don't think this is about God. It's himself, but it's similar. So let's go over here, and I can still make a point from this. So Second Samuel, what is this? 5 verse 20. So the term Baal, right? Um, it says so. David went to Baal Perazim, right? That's a place, and David defeated them there. I believe that's the Philistines. Yeah, Philistines. And he said, "The Lord has broken through my enemies before me like a breakthrough of water." Therefore, he called the name of the place Baal Perazim, which is literally master of breakthroughs. Wait a minute. Why is he calling the name of the place by a pagan god's name? Right? So let's open up the Hebrew. Let's dig into the Hebrew a little bit. Let's do some digging, right? It's what we should be doing with the Bible. When someone presents a verse, got to do some digging, right? Do some digging. So, uh, oh, is this literally one word? Oh, okay. So then this is okay. It's used as one word here. It's crazy. And you see that, right? Baal Prazim. Lord of the Breaks, right? The site, and technically, I guess you can say he is assigning this as a title to God, because who was the one who broke through, right? Let's read the verse again. The Lord has broken through my enemies before me like a break through water. The Lord, Yahuwah, right? But then it says he called the place Master of Breakthroughs, Baal Perazim, right? So he's essentially calling the Most High Baal there. But why is that? Why is that here? Why is that the case? He's not calling him Baal in the sense that this is the deity Baal. It's used in the sense of master. So the term itself, depending on the context, right, can mean the deity Baal or someone with authority, right? So in Hosea 2, if I'm not mistaken, the reason that title was not used because of its affiliation with Baal or Baal, right? So essentially God is saying, don't use this anymore. It's associated with this false deity, and I'm not him, right? So that's the point. But doesn't mean that the term, any term that has the same connotation as Baal is condemned. Because why? Because God is over and over again called Adonai, which has the same, essentially similar meaning to the word Baal, right? Authority over, possession of, right? Lord, master. It has the same connotation. So whenever they tell you, oh, well, Lord means Baal, but master means Adonai, they're either making it up, lying on the spot, or they've heard someone lie about it, didn't bother to look into it, or they only looked at the surface but didn't look deep enough and then say, yeah, they're right? Lord means Baal, right? And all of it's inaccurate. So Hosea 2:16 doesn't prove the doctrine of an ineffable name. He quotes one more, and I mean Jeremiah 9:14, and I forgot what it says. Something about Baal. Jeremiah 9:14. So he says, but they have walked according to the dictates of their own hearts and after the Baals, which their father taught them. And again, like this doesn't prove the doctrine of ineffable name, because this is in the context of apostate Israel that is going to go into captivity. And so Jeremiah is saying how, oh, look, they've walked away from according to their hearts after the Baals, right? The false gods. Now, I'm thinking that it's using this in the sense of lords. And there's 1 Corinthians 8:6 what comes to mind. There are many lords, but for us there's one Lord, right? Many gods, but for us there's one God. So I'm assuming it's saying something along those lines, but notice that it uses the same term for both, right? It uses kurios for the false lords, and then kurios for the true Lord Jesus Christ. It uses theos for the false gods, theos for the one true God, right? So depending on the context, right, and depending on the usage. So he's ripping this verse out of his context and trying to tell me, oh, well, Baal actually means Lord. So when you say Lord, you're saying Baal, but that's it's completely inaccurate. Inaccurate. All right. Anyway, I don't think he has any. Well, he said one more thing actually, because I responded to him. I explained the passages, and he essentially says here, there's a spiritual. Okay, I got to hold on. Please don't play the video.
And I found it.
Yeah, you didn't find it, man. I'm sorry, you did not find it. All right, here we go. So he told me there's a spiritual connection the scriptures are clearly pointing out with the changing of names, and much more understanding that comes with them. Also, the deception that's tied to the names and the foundations that were set along with them. Your explanations of these things are denial and misunderstanding on your part. So essentially, no response really. He just accuses me of misunderstanding and denying, does not explain why, right? I mean, I was in context of in all of those passages, right? I'm appealing to, for example, John chapter 5. I'm in the immediate context of John 5, and I'm looking at the linguistic range of the word name, or anama in Greek, and so I'm appealing to that. I don't know what misunderstanding he's referring to. He does not explain it, because they don't have answers, right? These guys don't have answers. They have to appeal to these kinds of things, right? They have to appeal to insulting me, or they can't deal with the argument. Once you present them the evidence, they you know, they have nowhere to go. So, anyways, so he's saying that there's a spiritual connection with these passages, right? So I mean, like, I'm appealing to the immediate context and the actual meaning of the text. Sure, there can be spiritual understandings to certain passages, right? Like, I mean, kind of think, you know, Jesus, certain miracles with Jesus, you can make an application, right? Like the man that I think is a Pharisee that says, "Lord, I believe, help my unbelief." Right? You can make an application there, but you got to be careful because the application has to be in line with biblical truth, right? So, I mean, I don't know if I said this before, but I'm gonna say it now. Interpret the unclear with the clear passages, right? So, if you think there's some spiritual connection here between these Hosea 2:16, Jeremiah 9:14, and John 5:43, how to determine that's a real, true spiritual connection? Is it even biblical? Right? Our biblical truth is not derived just from these vague spiritual connections in verses that have no real apparent connection. They're derived from the testimony of Scripture and what it's actually trying to communicate. Are there spiritual sections? Sure. Should we base an entire doctrine on a spiritual section? No. No. So, and I mean, he doesn't now. And none of those passages have anything to do with like changing of the name in the sense of these people say, because they believe transliteration is changing the name. None of these passages have anything to do with transliteration of names. What they have to do with are certain now John 5:23 is ruled out completely because it's not even about names, it's about authority. But Hosea 2:16 and Jeremiah 9:14 are specifically about Baal and the apostates of Israel going to false lords such as Baal. And so God is essentially, you know, saying that don't call me that anymore because of its association with Baal. But you notice that you notice how it doesn't show this doctrine, right? Yeah, line upon line, precept upon precept. I mean, that's not what Isaiah 28:16 specifically. Was that? No, what was that verse? I know the Hebrew Israelites quote it all the time. Line upon line, precept upon precept. It's in Isaiah 29. It's technically referring to something else, but you know, whatever. So stack an interpretation versus other verses that are more obvious to make sure you're not falling into a contradiction. Exactly, right? Exactly. And so what we see in the Bible itself, clearly, that the doctrine of the Nephilim is nowhere to be found. It's made up. It's a made-up doctrine. All right, let's go back to my notifications. Gotta go down here again. I really wish this was a lot easier to navigate, but whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay, here we go. Can you make a video? Oh, I did not even write that right there. One thing I don't like about TikTok is you can't edit your descriptions. But you should be able to do that because I make mistakes sometimes and I can't fix it, and then it infuriates me. But anyways, so this guy says in the original text, the context of the first verse is about ritual washing, not about the actual food itself. So that's his whole response to Mark chapter 7, where Jesus talks about how food is, you know, what goes in doesn't defile man, but what comes out. But doesn't actually explain the verse to me. Yeah, in an immediate context, the ritual washing, right? Eating food without ritual washing doesn't make the food, you know, unclean suddenly. Sure, but Jesus' response goes beyond that. Jesus' response goes to this extent, right? This is verse 14 or verse 15, excuse me. There's nothing that enters a man from outside which can defile him, but the things that come out of him, those are the things that defile a man, right? So Jesus' response isn't just about the washing, it's about the food itself. Jesus is making a very simple point, right? And then he doubles down in verse 18, I think. Is it verse 19? Okay. Yeah. It's verses 18 and 19. Are you thus without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside cannot defile him, because it does not enter his heart but his stomach and is eliminated, thus purifying all foods? Right? Now, this guy actually gave me the verse to explain that even more. Matthew 5:17-23. And he's going to make an argument from it. We'll get to it, but let's go there ourselves, because I want to make my point from it first. He gave me the verse that explained this. Why is Jesus talking about the foods like this? Hold on. Let me get. Anyway, so why is Jesus talking about the foods like this? Because do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So if the law is fulfilled, and I mean, you can see all throughout the Bible how Jesus fulfills the law, right? I mean, and sacrifices, right? The priesthood, the festivals, right? Sabbath, he fulfills these things. So, anyways, so do not think I came to destroy the law or prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill, right? And so Jesus fulfills the law, and so he can speak of food like this, right? The law is fulfilled. Now, mind you, he did keep the law on earth. That was to fulfill God's will and to properly impute righteousness to us, right? He has to keep the law. You can watch my in my tribute to Voddie Baucham. He talks about that in that video very briefly, not too long, but very briefly, about he keeps God's law and his slate remains clean, right? But anyway, so that's for that specific purpose. Not that we should also now try to topic for another time. And so he fulfills the law, and so he can speak of food like this. He can also speak of divorce like this, because guess what? Divorce is a sin, right? And so he does these things because the law is fulfilled, right? So, yeah. So let's see the guy's point. So he says, multiple times in the Bible does the Hamashiach, the Messiah, say to follow the commandments in Torah all the way up to the end times. And no, that's not what Matthew is saying here. Okay, I don't know why he had included up to verse 23 here. So let's cap it at verse 20. This is the whole section here that he's referring to. So what does this mean? Do not think that I came to destroy the law and prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So how is a prophecy fulfilled, right? How is a prophecy fulfilled? A prophecy is fulfilled when it comes to pass, when the thing it talks about comes to pass. So, for example, the messianic prophecies are fulfilled because the Messiah has come. Doesn't mean that you get rid of the prophecy itself or corrupt it. The text stays to be a witness to what's come to fulfill what's no longer in effect. Right? The prophecy is no longer in effect. Therefore, when he speaks of the law being fulfilled, the law is no longer in effect, insofar as that the bondage of keeping the law in order to enter heaven is no longer in effect. Now we keep the moral law afterward because there's sanctification that comes afterward, but that's something else. That's not to keep ourselves saved. We're not keeping all the rituals just to maintain our salvation. No. Point is, we are we're keeping morality because morality goes on, and this is to obey God, become more like him, become more holy, right? And so the commands are fulfilled in that we're not bound by being forced to not to keep the Sabbath or else, right? Because remember, in the Old Testament, they're stoned for breaking the Sabbath at times, right? So if we're gonna be consistent, are we gonna stone people today for breaking the Sabbath? Of course not, right? And that's the problem, right? Even they also believe in only keeping parts of the law. Why? These Torah observant people don't make animal sacrifices. They don't stone people for not keeping the Sabbath, right? They don't have the priesthood there. Because why? Because it's fulfilled in Christ. That's why. And so you're not forced to not eat pork or else, because it's all fulfilled in Christ. It's fulfilled. He kept the law, right? He kept the law, and so he fulfills the law. Not just in his person, right? Because the law points to Christ, not just in his person, but he also fulfills the law in that he perfectly keeps the law to impute his righteousness to us, right? He fulfills it for us. So that's essentially what that means. Like, it's not saying that you keep the law until the end times. The point is, until Christ fulfills the law, do not break any of the commands, and don't corrupt it either. Don't try to change the text or remove the text, because it's a witness. It's a witness to Christ. It's a witness to his authority, right? Points to Christ, right? Jesus says, Moses wrote about me. All right, let's see. Which is why we have Judgment Day. Yeshua and the disciples followed the commandments and Torah after the Hamashiach was crucified. I mean, they probably did, but this is just a non sequitur, right? Because Paul is very clear about this. All things are lawful to me, but not all things are pure things along those lines, right? Not all things are helpful, so it's not necessary. So even though they probably did keep the commandments, doesn't follow that therefore we should, because as I said, all the theology going into it, Christ fulfills it. That's a very common argument. I'm really getting tired of it. Yeshua states, not everyone says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And then I'll declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. The Torah, which means instructions, shows us how we are supposed to live righteously. So, yeah, it does that, but it also shows that you can't live righteously. That's the point of the law. Let me go to Romans chapter 3. Let's go to Romans chapter 3. And I know a lot of them don't like it when I quote Paul, but guess what? I don't care. Give me the big screen. Give me the big screen. I don't care. I don't care, right? Paul, an apostle of Christ. I'm going to quote him because he's writing under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So you don't like Paul? I don't care. All right? I don't care. Anyways, let's go down. So, Romans 3, verse 20. Actually, let's start from verse 19. After talking about, no man does good in those verses 10 to 18. Now we know that whatever the law says, it says to those who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, right? No excuse. Every mouth is going to be stopped. They see it. And all the world may become guilty before God. All the world. Everyone's guilty. Everyone's guilty. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, no flesh will be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. Right? Notice, by the law is the knowledge of sin. So while the law shows you how you can live righteously, sure, it also shows you can't live up to God's standard. You can't live up to God's standard. And then we have, let's walk through this. Let's walk. Wow. Let's go to verse. Let's just cap it off in verse 26. I don't want to spend forever on this. But now the righteousness of God apart from the law is revealed, right? Righteousness apart from the law, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Notice the language, right? Law and prophets. Remember what Jesus said in Matthew 5? I came to fulfill the law and prophets. Keep in mind, even the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ to all and on all who believe. For there's no difference, right? So there's a righteousness that comes from God apart from the law. And it comes through faith in Jesus Christ, not by keeping the law. And there's no difference, right? For all have sinned, both Jew and Gentile, that's seen throughout chapters 1, 2, and 3, and fall short of the glory of God, being justified freely, meaning without pay, right? It's free, right? Look at the footnote, freely, without any cost, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. Right? Through Jesus Christ, you are justified. You are declared righteous. You are without condemnation. Whom God set forth as a propitiation, meaning a satisfaction, as a propitiation by his blood through faith to demonstrate his righteousness. Because in his forbearance, God has passed over the sins that were previously committed, meaning sins like David sinning with Bathsheba. Remember when God says, or it was Nathan the prophet, this sin is gone away from you, right? God has passed over the sins because he knows Christ is coming and is going to pay for their sins. And so he passes over their sins. So that, why? To demonstrate at that present time, meaning now, his righteousness, that he might be just and the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. And so essentially, God remains just because there is satisfaction of his wrath, there's payment for sin, and he's the justifier. He justifies us by Christ, through faith in Christ. So all that to say, the law, yes, it shows us how to be righteous, but it also shows us that we can't keep the law perfectly, and that's why you have faith. I'm probably gonna have to look into. It's interesting that it says that it ends here. We establish the law. I might look into that more because I don't think it means that when he says that we establish the law, meaning that we're now still keeping the food laws and such. But anyways. Jesus came to uphold the entire law and also reveal parts that are prophetic. We don't toss the Old Testament or law, the prophecy of Jesus in there. Exactly. And the New Testament gives the good news of Jesus Christ sharing his imputed righteousness. Exactly my point. Anyways, let's head back. Okay, come on, man. Anyways, so let's see here. Okay, this is good. Let's go here. Whoa. Oh. Whoopsie daisy. All right. Let's see here. All right, we got two comments from this guy. So, first comment, Jesus and Jesus do not transliterate the correct pronunciation for the Hebrew name. Oh goodness, come on. I think that's Yahusha. Is the Paleo Abrit? That's Paleo Hebrew, I think. Dude, see, so I just wanna, dude. I'm gonna get really mad. I'm sorry. I'm about to get furious. You see, like, how legalistic this cult is. How they now, I mean, I don't have a problem if you want to do this, but this is what they have to do, right? Because that's their doctrine of ineffable name. Now, when you transliterate or translate things, supposedly that's corruption. And so he has to write in Paleo Hebrew and write the word Hebrew in Hebrew. All this, right? Translating. John Truth, he always has to apologize whenever he translates or things like that, because it's apparently a sin. So, oh gosh. English translator would be Yahusha, right? So, okay, maybe he's doing it by his own will, but I feel like there's just a certain amount of, I don't know. I feel like there's a certain amount of legalism here, where they're trying to learn this for righteousness' sake, and it's all unbiblical, man. Paleo Hebrew, by the way, that's not a new kind of language. I'm pretty sure that's a script. That's a specific script of Hebrew. Paleo, Dr. Brown absolutely destroys Paleo Hebrew. He probably does. I mean, Dr. Michael Brown, he knows Hebrew. I believe he's literally Jewish, so he speaks Hebrew. So, yeah. Anyways, and John 5, I explained this already in the live stream. You guys know it's not about birth name. It's about authority. So yeah, he's just butchering John 5:43. I'm gonna have to make a verse explanation video of that verse. But yeah, so now Jesus and Jesus. So Jesus comes more so from the Latin, which comes from the Greek. Greek is directly from the Hebrew. So if you're going directly from the Hebrew, you can say Joshua, if you want to say Yeshua, fine. It would be more like Joshua. But whatever, right? So because you remember it's functioning in such a way where it's similar to a J. It's not exactly a letter J, but it functions like one. So Jesus, right, comes from that. Now there's actually a comment on my YouTube that explained this well. I want to read it out because the guy actually like explained it perfectly. Okay. Notification. Oh, okay. Let's go YouTube Studio because there's a guy that explains it really well, exceptionally well. Community, right there. Okay, come on, close this. Stop it. All right, that is aggravating. A lot of times, this stuff is very aggravating. Wait. Okay. I think I'm an idiot. Where is what? Where is it? Am I? Where did it go? I know there was a comment somewhere that said something. All right, let's do this. Let's go back to YouTube. Let's go back to YouTube. Oh my goodness. Come on, don't make me rage quit. Do not make me rage quit. I don't want to rage quit. What? What do you mean, man? What is happening? Okay, this is incredibly broken. All right, whatever. I c- I can't find it, dude. This is so annoying, dude. Oh my gosh. Uh, oh, there's grafted apologetics. Yeah, I'm trying not to rage quit, but I'm trying not to, but YouTube is being difficult. YouTube does delete comments sometimes. Okay, all right, whatever. Whatever. But basically, so there are certain things within Greek grammar, right? Names will have to typically end in uh OUS or AS or things like that because that's how Greek grammar essentially works, right? You have nouns. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna open up. hmm, Let's just open up John 1. Let's do that. John 1, right? Now notice there's the word God twice here in John 1, right? But look, theon and theos. Why? Cases. Noun cases ending in specific uh endings, right? Os, u, o, on, e, right? For the nominative masculine, right? First declension. No, wait, is that right? Hold on. Declension. I think it's first declension. That's called. I don't remember, dude. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's first declension, right? So names will typically have those kind of endings, right? Let me look up the name. John, right? John. Yes, search for the name John. Are you kidding me? Okay. John the Baptist, right? Ioannis. Ioannis. Um, with the Eta Sigma ending, right? Because it's in the No, wait, no, it's masculine, but it's another declension, dude. I forget the information. It's been a while. I'm not gonna fight with it. Paul, I believe is. Let me see. Acts 13:9. Right? Look at that. Solos, Paulos. Right? So it's in English it's Paul, but in Greek it's Paulos. So, you know, things like that, right? So that's kind of how names work in transliteration in Greek. It ends like that because that's how Greek works. I think there are exceptions. Let me see. Let me see. Is Peter? Let's look up Peter. Petron. Okay. Simona. So right. So it's ending in like A, right? I think that's another right. See. So I mean, occasionally, I think in certain contexts there can be exceptions. Yeah, I know, dude. Dude. I swear, I think I do this like once every live stream, where I have to explain transliteration to people. Like this is the state of this whole cult, and this is the entire live stream. I've just been responding to these objections. We don't get. I don't think I have a single comment from a Muslim, atheist. It's all just these guys. It's really, really, really just. Anyways, I think I'm gonna move on. Actually, no. He has one more comment. One more comment. Transliteration is to represent or spell words and the characters of another alphabet, aiming to preserve the pronunciation of the original. Now he's right, but notice it's not intended to be perfect. Um, let's run an argument or react. I don't know what you mean. So, dude. So it's not intended to be always perfect, right? It's not always going to be perfect. I mean, for example, the grammatical needs of Greek, as I just explained, the endings. That's just how it works. The letters when that name retain their pronunciation. Yeah, yeah. Then Kepha said unto him, repent and be baptized, everyone in the name. Right? Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. All right. Let's have some. Let's go to Exodus 20. He's quoting Exodus 20, right? The do not reduce the name to nothingness. Do not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. So Exodus 20. I don't. You know, it's the same proof text. They don't. There's nothing new. It's the same ones all the time. So Exodus 20, verse 7, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Now, what does that mean? Take his name in vain. Right? He's saying don't reduce the name to nothingness. So he's saying it means in the sense of do not use titles. You must pronounce his name. Now, if we look up the word vain in the Strong's Concordance, right? Let's do that. I'm gonna make verse explanation for all these verses because let's see here, vain, right? Vain, Hebrew word save, right? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. It's just So emptiness, vanity, falsehood. Emptiness, nothingness, vanity, emptiness of speech, lying, worthlessness. So depending on the context, it can mean different things, right? So um look at Exodus 23:1. You shall not raise a false report, the same Hebrew word. Right? Look at that. So it's empty in the sense that it's void of truth, right? Um you should not bear false witness, right? Vain, right? False. Empty of truth, void of truth. Vanity. So I made to present month of vanity, right? So depending on the context, it can be used at different things. So when you take someone's name in vain, right? This is in the context of um oh, okay. If you're tuning, I mean, if you want to come up, it's up to you. Um uh you know, I like having guests. If you're available, I would love for you to come up, but I'm not gonna. I know last night with with Brother Maverick, you what it went at like what 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or something, just devoid of sleep just to stay there. So you know, it's up to you. It's up to you, man. Um, this particular argument is addressed in Acts 6:1 in a way it's specific to language or language and customs. My footnote says. All right, I'll look at that in a second. Let me just finish with Exodus 20 here. Right. So when you say what the heck? Okay, so when you say void, right? Emptiness, right? Say it like this. Like, when people say like uh on my mom, right? When they say on my mom, Khan the on a second stream now where Khan the Crusader is blabbering. Oh my goodness. Not him again. Isn't that the guy that got kicked yesterday? Was he a Muslim LARPer, right? Anyways, so yeah. So when people say like on my mom, they're treating their mom's name with like some sort of an authority, right? So it doesn't really reduce to, oh, you changed my mom's name into another language, whatever. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, if I have nothing else to do, I might just ask you to come up because I'm just running through comments, and then if I finish and I still have time, maybe we can chat for a few minutes. But yeah, yeah, if you're available, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to finish these comments first, or if someone else shows up, right? I don't know if Brother Ruben's gonna show up this time. Um, okay, what on earth is happening? Oh, this is this tab, right? So when you do it like that, you're essentially, it's almost like a promise, right? Um, so taking the Lord's name in vain, and you can see this right in throughout the Bible. You can see this throughout the Bible, like when Jesus talks about making promises, let your yes, I mean, and your no be no, right? This is the context in which it's used. Treat God's name as sacred. Don't just for example, I mean, you see, remember in Judges with I forget his name, one of the judges promises to God, right? First thing that walks through, um, first thing that walks through the door, right? That's gonna be, oh my goodness, wow. My train of thought, man. The first thing that walks through the gate or door, forget, I will sacrifice to you, right? And so God's name is sacred in that you should use it sacredly. If you make a promise by God's name, you better keep it. You better keep it. Now, it doesn't mean that if you transliterate a name that you're reducing it to emptiness. I don't know. I really don't know how, because the New Testament authors, they practice this, right? You have the Greek Septuagint that uses kurios in place of the divine name, and the New Testament authors, they will quote those passages with kurios. They don't have a problem with it. So Exodus chapter 20, verse 7, it's not about saying, oh, if you transliterate a name, you're reducing it to emptiness. The point is, right, God's name is sacred. And so you shouldn't, right, use it falsely, essentially, right? Emptily. It's sacred. Treat it with respect that it deserves, right? I mean, let's look at the more examples here. It's vanity, of course. It keeps saying vanity. Psalm 31:6. I have hated them that regard lying vanities. Look at Psalm 60, verse 11. Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Right? Vain is the help of man. It's useless, right? Empty. Let me look up the definition of vain. Let's do that. Right? When you do something in vain. Look at producing no result. Useless, right? So think of it like that. Having no meaning or likelihood or fulfillment, right? So, I mean, if you're gonna if you're gonna say something like, "On God, I'm gonna be there tomorrow," and you're not there tomorrow, right? Something like that. That's why I don't say on God, because I'm making a very serious promise then, because God is sacred. So that's basically the response there. So God is a title. Yahuwah is an incorruptible paleo abrit. And again, paleo Hebrew. It's like, okay, it's a script of Hebrew. What's what makes that different, right? Now, titles, again, titles are not invalid. Titles are used of God all throughout Old and New Testament, right? Adonai, El Elyon, right? God Almighty, the Most High, right? Most High God, Elohim, Almighty, right? I mean, these titles are used, Lord, which is Adonai, right? It's the same thing, both in Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic. The Ancient of Days in Daniel 7, right? Different things like that. All titles are used of God. So if you're gonna get mad at me for using a title, don't take it up with me. Take it up with the Holy Spirit, who inspired these authors to do that. Right? Don't fight with me. Fight with the Holy Spirit, and see how that goes down. All right. Anyways, so let's do this. Do we have any? I don't think I have any more. Well, I do have more comments. I think I have one more. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I got one more. This is fun. This is gonna be fun.
So why would the enemy work so hard to hide that name?
Whoa. Go back.
So why would the enemy work so hard to hide that?
Okay, come on, man. All right. So, last comment for TikTok, and then we'll probably go to YouTube, see what we can get there. So, last comment on TikTok. This guy, if I have a short responding to him. So, if you want to see that, I think is pretty cool short. I'm gonna pull it up, but I'm also gonna respond here because I just I gotta do stuff in this live stream. Let's see. Columbus tornado. Okay. This one right here. This one. I responded to the comment. It's also on my TikTok. So, but anyways. So yeah, this guy says a white man wants to tell us how to address Yahuwah about his name. The Bible is not meant for you, but for his people, which you are not. So this is, Hebrew Israelite, obviously, right? I'm white, so I can't say anything about the name. Now, I wonder what he would say about people like John Truth, people like that defend the same doctrine of ineffable name. I wonder what he would say about that. I'm curious because, obviously, they're defending this true doctrine, but they're not the black Israelites that are loved by God. He's an Edomite, right? He's the Edomite, the filthy Edomite. He's of Esau, right? Esau I hated, so he's of Esau. He doesn't get to say that. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about people like that that defend that doctrine, right? Because they're defending the truth, right? So, but because of their skin color, that disqualifies them. And that's the major. So there's Hebrew roots, but the sect of Hebrew Israelites are the filthiest among the Hebrew roots movement, because it's not just works based salvation; it's skin color based salvation. You can't even work your way to salvation if you're not the right skin color. That's how bad Hebrew Israelites are. You think the Nazarene are bad because they depend salvation on pronouncing names correctly? These guys depend salvation on your skin color. They're even worse. So, I mean, anyways, so And the reason I mentioned John Truth, because the point is and I'm not white, by the way. I'm not white. I'm Hispanic. But anyways, that's, whatever. So my skin color is irrelevant to whether I'm right or wrong. I just quote the Bible, run through what it says. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong exegetically. Show me from the text. Don't impose your standards on the text. Show me from the text. Or if I'm making a logical argument, right? Like deny one of my premises, and then tell me why the premise is wrong. Or better yet, because I probably would have to give the burden of proof for the premise, but that's what you got to do. This guy didn't deny any of the points I made in the video and argue against it at all. All he did was, you're white, so you're wrong. That is literally his argument. That's the steel man of his argument. I'm not even kidding. You're white, so you're wrong. I'm not strawmanning him. That is his argument right there. You are white, therefore you're wrong. So there you have it. There's Hebrew Israelites for you. And again, they're just like the entire Hebrew movement. Go to toe with them in the Bible, and they can't survive. They will not survive the Bible. If Khan comes here to talk about the Islamic dilemma, would you be cool with that? I mean, sure, I guess, but I mean, isn't he a troll? So, I mean, I don't have a problem with people coming up. It's just, if he's a troll, then he's a troll. But anyways, Dub, how you doing?
Pretty good. I was trying to find a different verse that was that I've gone across and thought it would be a great thing to just pound Hebrew Israelites on, but instead I ran into that verse in Acts 6:1, which actually shows. Okay, so if you went to Acts 6:1 and think about it real quick. So we have Hellenized Jews, who are basically people who speak the language of Greek, I would imagine, or maybe not fully adopted, but you know what I mean. At least they know Greek and have adopted some of those customs. And then who are their wives? Because it doesn't appear that their wives are actually Hebrew, right? They're probably Greek. And so it's talking about their widows being mistreated. And I find it interesting because in this language barrier that these other people claim is a big deal, we have an example right here to where the apostles actually say, gather a couple of men who are full of the Spirit and can take care of this task, because these other people are believers, but maybe their husband passed away, and the husband was a new Hebrew, maybe, let's say, and the wife doesn't, and they're getting passed by. So just because they can't say certain words, they're getting passed by. It's proven to be incorrect right there. You know what I mean? In my mind, that's how I'm reading it.
Yeah. This is an interesting verse, right? And I mean, actually, they can't say the footnote because it's being blocked. Hold on. Yeah, Greek-speaking Jews, right? The Hellenists. So, if salvation is dependent upon pronouncing the name correctly, right? What do you do with the Hellenist Jews, right? Because hold on, my computer's about to die, right? I mean, they don't know Hebrew, right? If it's all dependent on all this Hebrew language, this becomes problematic, and it's all unnecessary. It's all unnecessary. It's like it's making unnecessary boundaries to salvation that are just not in the Bible. It's not the teaching of Christianity at all. So that was, and I if you saw that last guy, right? I mean, my skin color has to be the deciding factor of whether I'm right or wrong. That's just insane. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I listen to these people all the time. I mean, not as much anymore, because I feel like after a good 4 years of basically asking them to show me one black male Israelite from the Bible, and they can't do it because I can refute them every single time. That the closest thing they probably come up with is I think it's Acts 13:1, where, I mean, that's not even close anyway. It's a guy's name. The guy's name is Niger, or Niger is the official Blue Letter Bible pronunciation, but that certainly doesn't mean the name that they want to ascribe to it. And the name means something, black man, but that doesn't mean it's talking about skin color. You can't prove it. It's just a name. So every single time I've tried to get them to, I tried to play their game, they just can't do it. And then it becomes futile to even talk to them actually, because all they do is repeat and regurgitate the same talking point, and none of them make sense at all. And it's just
but no, so let's run with that if that the word is describing as a black man. Why do they have to specify that if they're all black? Right? Why does he have that specific nickname if all the Hebrews are black, right? So if we run with that, that works against them. There should be no need to specify that, right? That would be like, you know, in America, you nickname someone like who? What? Why are you doing that, right? You know, so Graphic Apologetics, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Sorry, I thought I was muted. My bad. You could hear me typing. I'm so sorry.
Sounded like you were making popcorn, man.
No, I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted the whole time. My bad. I'm good, guys. How do you like? I've channeled my inner Shadi Khan over here, so just kind of going with a little bit of. But no, I'm good. I'm good, gentlemen. I'm good. I trust you guys a while. Hebrew Israelites are very frustrating as a group in general. Like, it's the arrogance of it, right? It's like the presupposition that we're just in the wrong already as our starting point, and that we have to like get on their level of not just textual treatment, but like thinking in general. And it's like, it's tiring.
Yeah, you said something about Khan coming up to discuss the Islamic dilemma. Wasn't that the troll from yesterday?
Yeah. So he was saying he cooked Brother Maverick on the Islamic dilemma. I was like, okay, I doubt that, but let's talk about it if you want. And then he was like, yeah, let's go one-on-one. And I was like, so I happen to know like that Young Christian's live right now, and he's not the kind of person to just mute people. But also, like, I only said this because I knew you were kind of close to like going through all your comments and finishing them. And that's why I asked first. Like, I'm not by any means pushing anything like onto you, yeah. But yeah.
If he wants to come up, fine. But
Yeah.
listen,
I
I spent the last hour reading these comments, so don't expect me to be Mr. Nice Guy. To struggle
Okay.
with these things.
There you go. With the Hebrew Israelites, what I find most frustrating is that there's somebody who might have an understanding of something through ignorance, but then there's ignorance and willful ignorance. So it makes it even double as frustrating, because it's hard enough to explain to somebody who's, not aware of certain things. But then if they are aware of it and they just made up their own doctrine, now they're willfully ignorant. They know they're wrong, but they're still presenting things. For example, I was talking with that purple group, IUIC, and they want to represent Song of Solomon 1 verse 5, and verse 5 and 6 as Solomon. And I'm like, that's a woman. Why are you presenting it this way? I mean, it just becomes so ultra frustrating. And they make pictures of this stuff, like paintings, and they put the verse on there. I'm like, wow, you guys must be dealing with some pretty intelligent people. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
There is a verse, I believe it's Song of Solomon 5. He's actually described as white. Look at.
Yeah, I went over that too with them, and then they pulled out the Zondervans. It's 510, right? It's Song of Solomon 510, and they pulled out the Zondervan, and the Zondervans was actually saying it's somebody who is not of dark skin. And I'm like, you guys just brought that for the definition out, and you just proved my point. I go reread it again, and they didn't, and I was like, you guys got caught, but it's on video.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the Hebrew right now. Song of Solomon 5:10. Not 110. Oh my goodness. Let's see. White is this word.
They'll just say that means chivalrous. That's all they'll say. It means he's white. He's pure. That's what they're gonna say. You know what I mean?
Dazzling,
They're just
glowing, clear, bright.
that's fine. So dazzling, they could say that means that, but then the word ruddy comes up often, and then you're gonna have to start talking about, well, what color is Esau? Because he's described as ruddy. Guess what? So is
Oh, yeah.
David. I think Solomon is described as ruddy too. So what we're understanding at that point, we can go to like Zechariah, and I can pull out basically a verse that says, no longer will they uh, basically deceive people with hairy robes. That's what it means. It means people that just straight up lie. Like Esau came back and tried to say he didn't sell his birthright, and he tried to claim something that he gave away. So, it's like at that point, it's tough titties, Esau. You messed up, you know? But I don't know. I that's I
Tough
don't think it's
tits.
a color at all. You know what I mean? A skin color. I don't think that's what it's actually meaning. The meaning is because if you look at ruddy, many people are called ruddy. So it's obvious. I think that that's not what that means. But oh well.
Yeah. This is a verse I found on that point because I know like they like to talk about the Edomites. Oh, the Edomites, the filthy Edomites. I'm curious what they say about this verse. Hold on, let me largen it here a little bit. Deuteronomy 23:7. You shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother, and you shall not abhor an Egyptian because you were an alien in his land. Right? So it's like, well, wait a minute. You you guys are sitting here yelling about, the Edomites, right? The white people, they're going to be our slaves and our servants in heaven or whatever. But it's that kind of blocked on the screen here. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh boy. There we go. Right, but then in the law, which they believe is still binding, it says you shall not abhor an Edomite, for he's your brother. So what's going on there, right? In fact, it goes on to say you should not. Go ahead.
At the point when you start bringing stuff like this as evidence in front of their entire fan base or whoever's watching, whatever you want to call it, they will boot you. They will just boot you because it's too much. It shows too much truth to whoever it is that is watching them, and they just they kick you off and they call you Esau or something. You know what I mean? And everyone in the chat laughing and all this stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Because they know it's a joke. That's why I say it's more frustrating because they're willfully ignorant. Like they just want to portray something as whatever they want it to mean, a false doctrine, but they know that it's false. Deep down, I know they do. Because their leaders, one of their leaders of Sakari, just straight dropped off, and he says it's all a lie. You know what I mean? They're looking for profit. That's what they're doing, or friends, or something. I don't even know.
Yeah. Like this Deuteronomy verse where like the Israelites could also, intermix with Edomites and Egyptians. Like it's quite interesting to me that the marriage options are not made to exclude these nations, and so it also actually shows you just how this like Israelite exclusive myth or sense of covenant that others can't join into the covenant. It's like a complete lie.
Yeah. I've got 2 more comments here on YouTube, so I guess since you guys are here, we can walk through them together. This guy says it's like when you know someone's name but keep calling them out of their name. It's disrespectful if you keep doing it and not calling them by their real name that they already told you it was. Okay. I've exhausted this example, but I'm gonna do it again. My grandma calls me Juan, right? I want to ask you guys this: if should I yell at her for that? Should I tell her no? It's John. It's John. Abuela, call me John. Right? Is that is that disrespectful? If someone calls you by your name in another language? I don't know if you guys are bilingual or know other, or if you have people that know other languages, but I mean, my grandma knows primarily Spanish, so when she speaks to me, she'll just address me typically in Spanish. So I mean, she'll call me Juan. That's not disrespectful, right? So if you're using, for example, the term Adonai, if you're gonna say in English Lord, I don't see the problem with that. It has the same exact connotation, the same exact meaning. Now, if you're going out and calling God things that do not befit his character at all, then absolutely don't do that. But Lord befits God's character perfectly in terms like God, um, etc. Right? It all befits his character because it describes how he's in complete authority. So, and then Jesus, right? You're still saying the same name in another language. So again, I really don't see the problem at all with
It's a pretty
transliteration.
it's a pretty easy fire to put out. Let me just put it to you this way: combined with the Acts 6:1 verse, whoever that is, that's in the comments section. Let me try to put it to you this way, okay? How did Jesus pray? Did he say Yeshua Hua? No, he said Father. So he called him Father, didn't he? Oh, so is the Father supposed to be pissed because Jesus called him Father? You're wrong, man. It's obvious.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, would be pater basically. That would have been the, or Abba, that would have been the way that he was addressed.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine, the apostles dressing up in purple outfits. Yo, Yahuwah Yahawashi. What's good, man?
So, young Christian, I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Bear the Image, but like he gets the funniest Hebrew Israelites up, and you have to see how the whole chat just starts spamming like Yawawashi, Yawawai, and someone was like Hail King Yoshi at one point. People just started like taking the piss. Because like that's the other thing, it's never the same name. It's never like, some people are like Yahosha, some people are like Yahoshua, some people are like Yahusha, some people are like Yahashasha Yawaya. I'm like, so many synonyms but no agreement.
Hold on a
But
second.
isn't that what cults do, right? Because ultimately, the only thing they're doing is all battling for some kind of authority that they think they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? That's what cults do. That's what Islam does. You know what I mean? They're all just battling each other and trying to make this group so that they have the strength in numbers idea, which is never true. Like the example of the Jews is like the smallest people in terms of population were able to escape from slavery from Egypt, which was the big dogs at the time. So it makes no sense, but they continue with it, and it's just foolishness. And it's funny how many channels of theirs I've been booted from. Like they won't even let me up anymore. I've been banned so many times.
Yeah. So Grafton, you're
Yeah,
telling me this is the God of the Hebrew Israelites?
I'm telling you, that's the guy,
Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Oh,
But
very good.
like personally, I'm more of a fan of Kirby, the Super Sucker.
Yeah. Or like that.
Why don't you zoom in on the black one?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I guess that's Yahawashi right there. I don't know. Oh my goodness, dude.
We blue eyes, white. I mean, red eyes, black Yoshi. That's what we're looking at right there.
Oh, but then you got to go through who was actually invented first, the green Yoshi or the black Yoshi. See, so then now we have that to argue about.
Oh my goodness, dude, this is a whole mess, man.
I know that's
well,
insane.
all right. Dude, when you said Kirby, you're reminding me of that guy yesterday. That was he called himself an analytic philosopher.
Oh yeah, Shark. You know what I think his name should be? Because like his whole like shtick was, are you here to like fish for men or not? And I'm like, then call yourself Jaws for Jesus or something. Don't call yourself Shark. Like, get creative with it. Like, what about epistemic Lenny or something? Because like Lenny's also a shark tale. There's a joke in there somewhere, but like, because he was like, what's your epistemology? If you don't grant both as being true, then like you're not being epistemic enough. And I'm like, on the one hand, you're saying I'm Muslim if I accept Kirby, and on the other hand, you're saying like Muslims like worship Muhammad. So are you saying both of them are true? Because that's very very confusing. Like sophistry, just if you allow it to just, if you give it the simple but disarming like questions, sophistry will bury itself into absurdity. Like, yeah.
About to argue himself into saying that Muhammad is actually Kirby.
Exactly, right? Like it's he's a binitarian. That's what he is. It's Kirby and Muhammad.
Dude, I
But
can't.
it's amazing.
I'm seeing
It's
images in my
actually
head now.
it's actually it's amazing and actually sad how much those people have to swallow morally in this day and age, right? Especially with what they claim is the most best example of humanity ever. Oh, how old was he now? And how old was that little girl? I mean, I feel sad for them, but they live in those people are it's a gang, man. You know what I'm saying? They're like the religious mafia. Like, if you don't listen to me, guess what happens to you and your family? You know what I mean? And does that suck to deal with? I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's brutal. But if you want to bring that, if you want to say and run over to America and go, oh, I need asylum because these people wanted to get me, then drop your ideology and maybe you can come in. And that's, I think that's biblical. You got to have borders. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not with a secular person per se. Like, fine, come on in. You don't have any, things that you're really holding on to. Maybe you could learn something. But if somebody's already got their brain like totally fried, and they're believing in things that are anti what I'm believing in, we can't let you in. I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna have to go deal with your mafia people and try to overthrow them. Then, if they're the ones that are wrong, and you know a bunch of people, and you guys all disagree, then go overthrow those people and show what the true Islam is. But they don't do that, do they? They just spread out like a cancer and try to divide and conquer. You know.
Yeah, I don't know why, but now I'm thinking of the Al Zuch story, but with Kirby.
No, I knew you were gonna go there. That's the problem. Cause now they're like one essence, right?
Oh my god.
So Johnny, Amir is in the chat. I think maybe just, if you're still up for it, maybe just let him up on panel for a chat. He said he wanted to chat Islamic dilemma.
I'm gonna drop off. I'll let you guys take control of that.
Okay. Well, it's if Johnny's still up for it. Depends on your energy level.
So Amir, this is dude, I'm like losing track of all these Muslims. Is this another one?
Sorry. It's Khan. It's the same person. It's Khan. It's just a different name.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, if he wants to join, sure. I'm not in the mood right now for trolling. So if he wants to chat, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been having a few rough days. Really like just trying to move through anything. So my patience can be tested. Also,
So
typically relaxed.
yeah. Well, no. It was just I just thought it was quite funny and somewhat unlikely that Amir actually did Cook Maverick, as he says. I'm not here to show off for show, but I'm just like, I'd be willing to have the conversation just to like actually see if this is reality or if it's delusion. And that's not saying like I want to foster an environment of us like, being belligerent towards each other. And you can even weigh in if you want to. Like, I'm not going to interrupt. I mean, you know me, Johnny. I don't interrupt people until they say something that's like blatantly wrong and I have to like correct it, or they just lie. So I'm not gonna like, get fired up with him or anything.
Yeah, if he's pulling an Aladdin, I'm gonna throw out all the heavy artillery.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting for him to join the. I told him the link is in the channel. In the description. Unless you wanna like pop it in the chat.
It does not work for me at all. I don't know why.
Oh. That's so weird. Like moderators are always able to do that and do link sharing.
Yeah, that's the weird thing because I'm literally the owner of the channel, but I can't, do it. So I don't know if I can try making you moderator and see if it. Let me actually try that. Give that a- Oh, I got more subscribers. Cool. There's 2 more comments, but they don't really. They literally have nothing of substance. So I just.
Well, I'm fine chatting about it until he gets here. Or if you want to talk about something else, go for it.
Yeah, I mean we can look at them until he comes. There's 2 more, like, corny comments. Let me open up the live here, because I need to. Let's see if I set you moderator. I just want to see.
Okay.
Let's see. Add as moderator. Yeah. See if that works. Is that him? Oh yeah, it's him. Just test it out really quick before I.
Okay, let me copy that link and see if it pastes. Hectic. It's so short in your description, but it opens up as like a whole YouTube like redirect. All kinds in the chat.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna test this in the meantime quickly, because it says I'm a moderator now. I'm a managing moderator for this channel. I can hide or put users in timeout, remove messages, change chat modes, manage blocked words. I think standard moderator is good. Oh no, there you go. Yeah, I can. So yeah, so it works if you're a mod. That's so funny.
But it doesn't work for the owner. Wow. Okay.
I know. That's clever, right? That's so clever.
How you doing, man?
Khan, you're mute today.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Pretty good.
So, Bon, I'm still at my work. Just headed home. But yeah, we can
Well-
introduce ourselves. So who's the one getting grilled today?
Oh, hectic. Well, no one, hopefully. Unless you want it to be that kind of conversation. So, Khan, you and Johnny should at least know each other, be familiar. Young Christian has been in Brother Mavericks lives a couple times. And of course, you know me.
Yeah, I just started recently joining Brother Mavic's lives. I had that. I don't know if he's like blagging out because it's like Are you speaking right now, or is that just background noise? Because it's like really muffled.
Me? It's background noise.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. If
I
you
was
were
in the
speaking.
gym area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think.
I was at my work, so passing by the gym area. Oh, hold on. But you get. Yeah, so yeah, you guys can let me mute myself. I told grafted that I will be home soon. Ooh, it's heavy. Can you hear me?
Okay, well, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Give me
go
one
ahead.
sec.
So what's up with Johnny?
Oh, he's just probably just gonna go sort out something quickly, a sound that he heard. But so kind, just so that you do know, I mean, I did speak to Johnny before, and he won't like mute you,
Yeah.
just like, you know, if he doesn't like something you say, I reckon he'll only like actually
Well,
intervene
you
if like
won't
we
like
start.
anything I say. I mean, I'm gonna be proving that Islam is the truth, and you follow something that's not true. So he's not gonna like it, of course. That's why I say I don't want somebody muting just because they don't like it. Yeah, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. I'm not gonna say anything blasphemes. I respect Jesus. I respect God.
I hear you.
Okay.
So you wanted to chat Islamic dilemma, but I mean, I'm just making sure I understand and I'm
Yeah.
aligned with you. So you want to chat
Mm.
Islamic dilemma to show that Islam is the truth? Is that like your
Well,
thesis? Yeah.
the problem here is here how it goes. Give me one moment. Let me. My colleagues here. I don't want them to hear me talking about Islam. Work. I live in like America. Everybody is
Yeah.
atheist.
Oh yeah. Accidental dawah is not a good idea.
Yeah, doing a lot of work. Nah, they want slaves.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Khan. I'll stay muted so that you can make an opening statement or some kind of like thesis. I mean, it's not like a formal or anything, but I'll just give you the platform, I guess, to
That's
just make an
good.
opening statement.
See you guys. Oh, I was talking to my friend. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
Sorry, so I just muted myself. All I said was, even though this isn't like a formal or anything, I reckon I'd at least just give you a platform to make some kind of opening thesis or like just opening statement, just so that we know what kind of like trail of logic or like what your point is actually going to track along.
Hmm. So yeah, first off, I will go and dismount the argument, show why this argument is flawed, and I'll use the book to show why it doesn't work historically from your books, my book, and his from atheist books that are more history based, Jewish books. So yeah, that's what's up. And misunderstanding why you guys misunderstand this. Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, give me a
Um,
moment. I'll be driving. So yeah, you guys talk and maybe explain your position.
yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll also just to clarify, make a position of my own. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, or what I would hope to do is actually engage the claims that Khan makes. He'll probably end up making quite a few, especially if it's going to be from our books, like he said, from history, from various literature. He will either prove, necessitate, or engage the Christian understanding to show that Christians misunderstand the Islamic dilemma, etc. I assume then that his point will be that he will prove Islam via showing the Islamic dilemma as a whole misunderstanding and that there's no faults in the Islamic claims being made, right? Or there's no like logical issues that stem from that. I will run an a reductio ad absurdum for that, and I will show that actually, by his claims not being tenable and being near impossible, that actually the opposite is true. So I will effectively prove the negative claim that Christians do actually understand and have a valid dilemma being presented, and that history and other literature do not align with the Muslim apologetic answer that there's no dilemma, and that there is in fact a dilemma. And if there's a dilemma that, well, not only undermines the truth claims of the Quran, but undermine the relationship that the Quran has to other texts, and that those texts are still valid in their own right, well, then we've got an issue here. Islam is false. And that would be, I guess, my thesis and statement to open this conversation. Johnny, while Khan's muted, do you have any thoughts? I don't consider you a moderator by any means here, right? So I mean, you don't have to time us or be quiet here or anything like that.
I mean, you know, I am trying to brush up on my skills of hosting, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get in here, but what I will say is that essentially, yeah, in the Islamic dilemma, right, it argues that the Quran affirms the Bible, and we can see that multiple times in the Quran, but the Bible contradicts the Quran, and I'm anticipating that there's going to be some answers. I don't know if he's going to use the conscious edits that we've been seeing over and over again. I don't know if he's using an explanation, but I have heard certain responses. I don't really find any of them very convincing or plausible, but I don't know how much I'm going to get involved here. So if you guys want to keep it one-on-one, I'm happy to kind of host, because I am looking to kind of brush up on my hosting skills, but I don't know. I don't mind chiming in. So
if I see. Well, look, if you want to propose a moderated structure, right? This is like pretty just off the cuff for both of us, right? So this is not going to be an hour-long discussion or debate for us. It's just like if you think or feel that you want to propose something, do it. We can take turns. We can be timed. It's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind if you want to get some help. I don't mind it. I can handle you both alone, or you can have more friends if you want. Okay.
Khan, I must say I like this confidence. He went from let's go one-on-one, and I don't want anyone muting me to yeah. I'll take as many as I need to.
One I meant. Yeah, one. When I say one, my main point was I don't get muted when I'm making my point, because a lot of people do. I'm not gonna name. I don't like picking on people's back, but there's some Christian apologists. What they do is they ask you a question. When you answer, they mute you. They don't want you to explain, right? That's what I don't want. But you can have 10 people. I don't care, as long as they have a fair dialogue.
Well, you haven't been muted yet, so
yeah, self-mute for now. Well, like I said, Khan, are you happy to just go into it? And if so, you can go first, or do you want Johnny to kind of propose a structure for us and we just go based on his structure?
I'm driving right now, but I can give you an overview. So basically, I heard Johnny say that, Quran affirms Bible. I point out that Quran does not affirm Bible at all. You can show me one verse where Quran says, read Bible or Bible is good, anything. It doesn't even mention Bible. So if you have any words that affirms Bible, you can bring it up.
How about the word book? Yeah. Kitab.
Yeah, Kitab. The Bible is it's coming like a collection of books. And Quran never affirms Biblios or Bible or Kutub or something like that, where it's like a plural collection of anything. It claims that each prophet, not only Moses, not only Jesus, each prophet came with their own books for people or different
multiple books
to give warnings. Yes, to give warnings.
Okay.
Multiple books of each nation. Each nation was given a book, right? And that's what Quran affirms.
So remember how I said I was going to run a reductio on his claims, right? And that he said, well, the Quran doesn't affirm books, biblios, a collection. It affirms a singular book per nation. But I mean, according to the Quran's own claims, right, the Torah was given to Moses, which history will tell you is a collection of books, and that the Zabur and that the Injil also were given to the Israelites. So already the claim that that Khan is making about what the Quran affirms is not matching what the Quran affirms. So try again.
So where does it say that it was multiple books for Moses? It literally says Torah, and it might have different chapters. For example, Quran has different surahs, right? It doesn't mean there's multiple books. Or you can have something like Talmud, right? And for example, Quran, and then we have Hadith, we have Sirah, we have, you can have multiple books, but there's one main book that each prophet brought. Now, Moses might have had 10 commandments or something like that.
Khan. So I think you misunderstood that there. A reductio is me granting you your claim and then showing that your claim is deficient. It doesn't actually account for reality. You yourself in your thesis said you're going to use history, books, scriptures, right?
Yes,
right
yes,
now,
yes.
you're making...
I need to be home. That's what I'm saying. Just give me like 10 minutes. I'll be home. I got all the notes on my home I will provide the source, and I'm not going to just speak out of my head. And I expect the same from you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
You take your time. I can speak for 10 minutes just on the claims you've made so far. And
I'm going to get
how's
some
that?
peanuts, the flowers, and I'll be home. Okay.
All good. So just to recap, and I mean, Johnny, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, right? You can even give those who are watching your own understanding of a reductio ad absurdum. But a reductio is granting someone's claims. It's granting the things that they say, showing that, okay, so these are your claims, and you're saying this is the way the world works, or how reality works, or what's really going on here. And his positive claims were that the Quran no way affirms Bible. That was the stock term, Bible. Then I said, okay, how about the word book? Because Kitab obviously speaks about the people who have the book. And then Khan's words were, well, yeah, but it's a singular. It's not like a series of books, which obviously is what the Bible is called. That Biblius is dealing with a series of books that are our scripture. Again, Khan himself, in his opening thesis, appealed to history. History dictates that the Israelites, the people of the book, were given more than one book. The Torah, the Injil, the Zabur. That's more than one book. Already it creates a deficiency or a plot hole, or I say plot hole, right, because that's a story effectively, or a narrative, but it creates holes in what Khan's claims were. So that's all I mean when I'm saying that, like, I'm running a reductio that is already weakening and undermining the claims Khan has made so far about the Islamic dilemma and what it actually is that the Quran is doing. By the Quran's own contents, more than one book was given to the people of the book. Via Moses, via David, via Jesus. So if we take the logic that says Biblios, the Bible, is multiple books, then what I'm saying holds up so far.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that each nation within books. No. Each nation was sent a books, right? That was basically commandments directed to the people, the particular people based on their situation, location. But the collection was made by people later on. Like, at least we call it. Okay. Give me one more. It's just weird talking about, religion, supermarkets.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just want to correct you that I didn't say nations were sent books. Nations were sent a book. They might have wrote stuff like, explanation, science books, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the holy. The holy book's the only one for each nation.
I fully understand the claim you made. And I think I did address. Oh, hectic. He dropped. I think it's a signal thing while he's on the move.
Yeah, because I heard him like going out.
Yeah. So I think Khan fundamentally misunderstood how I said I was going to approach the topic, which was I'm going to grant his claim and then I'm going to show that history is not in harmony with his claims. So also again, for those watching, I understand that he said the nation got one book. And then I'm saying that that claim alone doesn't even line up with the Quran, because the nation that received one book in his claim is Israel, right? But even so, according to the Quran, Jesus was sent to the Israelites, Moses was sent to the Israelites, and David had a book for the Israelites. So that's 3 books. So Khan obviously just misunderstood what I was saying. I'm not saying that he said the nation got many books. I'm saying that like history and the Quran's own words destroy his claim that the nation only got 1 book. So yeah, that's just what's happening there. Welcome back. Khan, how's your audio? Are you in a bit of a better signal spot? It's okay, I can be patient with him. Johnny, what are your thoughts so far? I mean, are you understanding it the way I'm understanding it, like, in terms of the claims that he's made so far?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I was thinking I don't want to like 2v1 here because he's already. Oh, there he goes. He's already.
Nah, he opened it up for 2v1.
Yeah. It's just when he started saying like I can 2v1 you guys, I'm getting the Aladdin vibes because that's exactly what he does. Like, so I'm just being cautious, but yeah, that's. So I guess what he's saying, and I didn't understand it completely, but I guess what he's trying to say is that, oh well, you have the Bible, but the book is not the Bible in the Quran. And when you read, like for example, 23:46, I believe, talks about the book belonging to the people of the book, right? What is that book? It's the Christians and Jews, right? And the book they have is the Bible. So,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear what you were saying, but you're talking about the book. Like people of the book is those who received a prophet with the warning. For example, people of the book were at some point the Noah too, right? You know the prophet Noah. I think in English is Noah or Noah something. The one who had like flood.
Oh yeah. The Prophet Noor, which
Yeah, so
that would be the Prophet Noah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was sent with his own message, and people didn't heed to his message, and they drowned, right? And similarly, so each one of them were sent. Like for example, Moses was sent with Torah, right? Now there's a collection of books. I agree, like Enoch and Ezra, yada yada yada, right? Those and Tanakh, those are said to be kind of like hadiths. And Bible, like the Matthews, John, yada yada yada. These are all the actual Injil was Injil of Jesus. That's also mentioned in Bible. When I get home, I will give my sources what I'm talking about, so it'll be more clear. I know I keep saying it, but I will just kind of clarify some terms I use.
Yeah, so it would not be improper of me to say that your claim is that the reason you can say that the Quran doesn't affirm the Bible is because it doesn't use the word book or kitab in the same sense as what the canonization of scripture is that we hold the understanding of.
It doesn't affirm Bible because first off, it never talks about the Injil of Matthew, the Injil of yada yada yada. It says Injil sent to the prophet itself. So the word of the prophet is what it's talking about. And it was it recorded, in a tablet, on a leaf, on a skin of a goat, on a paper, it doesn't matter. The words of the prophet is the book, is the kitab. Kitab is sent to the mind of the, like Prophet Muhammad, it was sent to his chest, it says, it's in Quran, that it was delivered to his, it's not on the paper the Quran was delivered. It was him, like you can have Wahi.
Right, and I understand the claim, and that's just what I'm clarifying. I'm just clarifying your claim, your way of addressing the word book or scripture or books, so that I understand what you mean when you say the Quran doesn't affirm it.
Grafted. Let me try to help here. So, I as a Muslim, you are affirming what? Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, maybe, and Psalms. Is that what it is?
So
No, we
no,
don't affirm
no.
any of those,
Oh,
because
that would be multiple books.
what's happening is,
That would be
excuse me.
books, though. Is it people of the book? When it's saying book, are you just referring to one book or many books?
So each prophet, Moses, was sent a book, and if they're multiple, they are like man-made separation stuff. It's supposed to be just one book by Musa alayhi salam, and same with Isa alayhi salam, because one Injil, and if it was partitioned by
Oh no, no,
people, those
I'm
are
not
not
talking about.
made. Yeah.
Wait.
So go ahead.
We're not. What we're not doing right now is we're not talking about the Injil. We're talking about the Torah and the Psalms because the Psalms are referred to as something else, right? So, did Moses write the Psalms, or
Yeah.
am I just Moses wrote the Psalms?
No, 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 no. I think
No,
you're
Psalms
misunderstanding.
was the prophet. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, so,
Zabur
so,
is a different, separate.
yeah. Sorry,
Go
Khan, I
ahead.
just wanted to clarify for Dab. So Dab, what Khan is saying is that the reason he can say the Quran doesn't affirm the Bible in the same way, even though I'm trying to just make Biblios, books, analogous to Kitab, the reason Khan rejects that is because he says each prophet had their own book, singular, for the people. And he views the splitting up of one book into many books. He gave the example of like the Injil being split into 4 Gospels. That's considered a corruption or a man-made thing. Similarly with like Moses and the Torah, the split into the multiple books is most likely a man-made thing or corruption, not the original book that the prophet had. Khan, am I representing you correctly in your claim?
So when I get home, I'll show you what it says that the people wrote what they believed was said, like later on. That was not the actual book. Those are kind of like hadiths, statement by Jesus. So not even the 4 gospels you got is not what Quran affirms. The Injil is not 4 gospel whatsoever. These were
Khan,
later inventions. Yeah.
Khan, I just wanted to know if I was representing your claim properly, so that Tab understands.
Yeah. So you understand now what I'm trying to say? 4 gospels are the hadiths of Jesus or Isa
Yeah,
alayhi
then
salam.
what you're failing to address, Khan, is I'm not talking about what you refer to as Injil, which means gospel. I'm talking about the Old Testament. I want to
Yeah.
kind of nail down what you believe is the truth, so then we can have a discussion from there. If we're not going to agree on
Yes.
anything that's truth, then we can't have a discussion. But so, what books do you actually believe are true? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. When I get home, I will show my notes where actually it talks about what happened to the Torah, right? So give me just a little bit. I'm driving.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure. But
Yeah, yeah.
you don't need notes for this. This is an easy question. I'm not asking you about Injil. This is not what I'm asking you about. I'm just asking you what if you. But let's say, for
Okay. Okay. So you
example,
wanna?
right? For example, you believe that Deuteronomy is truthful, or maybe some parts of Deuteronomy are truthful. Okay, but if you believe that Deuteronomy is truthful, I would be able to use certain verses, and we can discuss those.
Yes, yes. Well, I will show you from my notes. I wrote it down. What actually Quran affirms from the Hadith and the Quran. Now, the Hadith doesn't mean holy scripture. It is the same. Hadith means statements, right? So
I'm
there are
not
some
interested.
Hadith
Yeah, but
statements
hold on,
by
wait. Wait. I'm not
yeah,
interested in learning about what hadiths mean and all this stuff. I'm just asking a really basic question that you don't need notes for.
yeah.
I'm asking you what you believe. Which books are you claiming? If you're only going to say Deuteronomy, or you're only going to say Genesis, or you're only going to say Genesis 4:10, or something like that, let me know, like, at least which books in general. You don't need notes for this. This is a really simple question.
No, I need to provide sources so that I back up my claim. Like if I say for example, Psalms is the book, you'll be like, well, how do you know, right? So I will
Hold on.
provide.
Now I want to find out. I want to find out how long is it going to take you to get home. You said 5 minutes, like 15 minutes
Like,
ago.
yeah. 2 minutes now. I'm actually right
Okay.
at my house. So give me,
You're on the work, buddy.
no,
You're on
so-
the
Give him
work.
the time. Give him the
okay.
time. It's fine.
Yeah. You guys can talk about it. Maybe plan a little bit better. Because when I show my sources, your plane will be crumbled. So just give me a moment. I like to
Okay,
speak
so
with
first
with
of all-
with the sources, so I can back it up, right?
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Mm.
We'll talk amongst each other. Okay. Now, Graf, get smart when you're having a discussion with somebody, just to try to lay down some kind of basis for agreement that you have, so then a discussion can be had. I think that's pretty logical. So I would like to. I mean, I could leave the panel, no problem. But what I'm trying to do is to get him to actually bring himself to some kind of level where a discussion can take place. Because if he says he believes all of the texts are corrupted, we can't have a conversation. So then he would have.
He
to
already
show-
said it. That's the thing. He already said it. So, like, I don't know. So I don't know if you heard. So I'm gonna answer in two. There's two parts to my answer, but he basically said that the Torah is one book, the Gospel's one book, right? There's no Bible, there's no like canon of multiple books. That is man-made. That is not scripture. That is something like you could liken it to a hadith, right? So he already effectively doesn't grant our concept of multiple books. Now, I understand that, and these are the claims I want him to make and clarify. And the reason for that is because I had said he made an opening statement that he was going to use scripture, history, XYZ to prove that the Islamic dilemma actually is not a dilemma, and that we are wrong, and that the Islamic view or worldview is true. And what I said I was going to do is I was going to run a reductio ad absurdum, which is basically I listen to his claims, I grant them, I follow them to their logical end, and we see if that actually holds up against history. And if it even holds up against what the Quran says, because if he can't account for those things, then actually his position is undermined by the Quran and by history itself. So that's why I'm okay with not immediately pressing Khan on these things. I mean, I appreciate that you are doing it. I'm just letting you know why I'm not like hammering him or anything like this.
Yeah, I mean, I came up to basically kind of push him a little bit more because, again, it's been probably 15 minutes since he said he was 5 minutes from home. So it leads me to believe he's trying to make, I don't know, the show boring or something. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't want to hear about what hadiths are and all this stuff. That's not the purpose of the conversation. The purpose of the conversation is to come together with two opposing views and then come up with a conclusion, such as I can say, well, God is not a liar, and your book says, God is the ultimate deceiver, so we have a contradiction
No,
here.
he's not. I'm sorry.
Hold
This
on,
is
wait a
blasphemy. I'm not
Wait a
gonna
second.
allow blasphemy. I'm not gonna allow blasphemy. This is
Hold on, wait a
blasphemy.
minute.
Our God never say you're a deceiver.
Khan,
So
Khan, wait a
please
second.
avoid
Khan,
blasphemy
Khan,
because I'm gonna be blaspheming too. Then it's not gonna be productive.
Khan, relax,
Understand?
relax, Khan.
Well, you
So
need
now-
to first stop blaspheming.
No,
Then
no,
I'll
no,
relax.
no,
Yeah,
no,
I'm not gonna
no,
relax
no, no.
when you're blaspheming my God because
Now,
yeah.
wait a second.
You know,
interrupted
in
the
2 Kings,
conversation.
what happened to the people who are blaspheming a prophet?
Can you please mute him?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
gents.
I'm gonna
Hey,
hop off
gents.
and-
Gents.
Can
Just
you-
both of you calm down. Just both of you calm down.
No,
Dab.
let me finish. I'm gonna hop off right now.
I don't blaspheme anybody. I'm not gonna say you got like
Okay.
3 gods or you worship a
Mute him.
man. You know what I'm
Pick up
saying?
the
Like this is childish.
Just mute him. Just mute him for a second, because let me finish my point. If it is said that God does not lie within the scriptures that you agreed to, then now we have a contradiction, don't we? And again, that's all it needs to be said. And if you can't explain it, then it's almost a waste of time. But I'm going to hop off. I just wanted to say we need to get to a basis. I think I figured it out. You believe in just the Torah. You don't believe in the Injil or the Gospel at all. Or we can hear what you believe in. But I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you guys letting me up. And I hope you have a great discussion.
Thanks for coming, Dub.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, what the heck is this, man? I mean, see, I told you I don't want. If you're gonna see, that's why we cannot have dialogue. If you call like, oh, your God is a deceiver, your prophet, like you can ask me, what do you believe?
He doesn't
And I'll
mean it in a
explain my point.
belligerent
You
sense.
don't.
He doesn't So Khan, he
Yeah.
doesn't mean it in a belligerent sense. What he means it in is a logical sense, which is that if scripture A is true, but scripture B contradicts it, then it makes your God a liar. That's what he means it in like that logical following. He's not taking the jab for the sake of taking the jab. He's just trying to get to a point where like we see the clash. Yeah, that's why we're not gonna mute you just because of an understanding, a misunderstanding. But like, yeah, I'm just clearing that up. That wasn't being like
Yeah, I'm just
disrespectful just for the sake of it.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know this guy. Actually, I was driving. I just looked at my phone. I thought it was you and Young, and I saw some stranger come in and start, calling, God a deceiver and stuff. I'm not gonna really appreciate. Not like it's not like I'm gonna get angry. So I'm just gonna go because I don't wanna. I want to have a good faith discussion where we share our beliefs. Like in a proper, respectful manner. Not call each other God's mean or prophet. It's just not gonna work like this. But anyway, so what I was saying, I'm sorry, I got a little overwhelmed.
So Khan, I tell you what, I'm gonna give you like 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you like 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
Just get your sources. You should be home by now. Yeah, and then we can chat.
Yeah, so do you guys read the Ezra, which is the Jewish sources?
Do we read the what?
The Ezra, the Jewish sources. These are Jewish books.
The Ezra.
As in like the book of
Ezra.
Israel?
Yeah, Ezra or Ezra.
Are you, well, that depends. When you say it's a Jewish source, are you affirming it as scripture?
No, I'm not. I'm affirming it as writing by Jews. It's like outside. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish what sources you're gonna accept, so that I can provide you. For example, I don't think it's right for me to just give you Islamic sources to back my claim, because that's gonna be circular reasoning. Some
much.
things I'll give you Islamic. Yes, I'll give you Islamic sources, and then I'm gonna give you extra sources that are outside of Islam to substantiate my claim, right? And I expect the same from you. If you're saying, for example, there are multiple books sent to a certain prophet, and you only give me evidence from that book, that's going to be circular reasoning.
Sorry,
Okay.
so you're saying that I can't evidence a book that demonstrates. So what you're saying is I can't demonstrate that the Torah is more than one book by showing you the Torah. That's what you're saying to me.
So, like, for example, if you have sources, for example, see, that's the thing. When we go far back, like 3,000 years ago, you cannot really. That's why I was trying to stick with Injil, because that's more recent. If you go to Torah, I don't think you can even prove that Moses was even existed. There's no outside of the
So of course I can prove that Moses existed. I can use your Quran to do that.
Well,
I can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying that outside source, the Quran also is not gonna be standalone. Like, you cannot use Quran as a historic book. You cannot use Bible as a history book. When
Yes, I
you're
can.
defending Bible, you cannot.
Yes, I
if you're
can.
defending Bible, you cannot use.
Yes, I can.
So if you're substantiating that your Bible is true, you cannot use itself. That's going to be circular reasoning. Like I say, hey, Prophet Muhammad was a true prophet because the Quran says so, and Quran is real because Prophet Muhammad is a prophet and he says so. It's going to be circular reasoning. I need
That's
to
circular
provide you.
reasoning. Yes.
Yeah, so if you
So
say,
the reason
Injil is correct. Yeah.
No, sorry, Khan, I just want to clarify something to you. The reason that that's circular reasoning is because you're using the book in question to substantiate the positive claim that you're making. What I said my method was going to be was a reductio ad absurdum, which takes your positive claims and matches them up against reality, history, other scriptures to see if your claims actually hold. That's why I can go to the Quran to measure your claims about the Bible. So if your own claims don't even match the Quran, then you have a problem. I'm reducing from your claim to prove it implausible. That's why in my scenario, according to my framework and methodology, I can use the Quran. It doesn't mean I'm being circular. I'm not making positive claims here. I'm examining your positive claims. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah. So yeah, I
Okay.
agree that you can use Quranic claim to use Quran, or Islamic claim to use Quran if it stands. Like for example, if I say that there is only one book, and if Quran says there are multiple books by this prophet, then yes, that will be incorrect. Yeah, I'm presenting something, Quran says something else. So
Yes.
yes, I agree with that. What I'm trying to say is, like, for example, if you say that there are multiple Bibles, or sorry, multiple books, like multiple Injils, because the Bible says so, that's going to be circular reasoning. You agree, right?
Yes, because I'm making a positive claim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my back to my question, do you like Jewish books like Talmud and stuff? Do you use them as, for example, if I use them as evidence outside of the Quran to substantiate a claim, for example, the Torah was destroyed at some point? Do you take this as an evidence outside of the Quran? It is Jewish sources themselves.
So for me, I don't take the Talmud as a source. I take the Old Testament and the New Testament as scriptural sources. Anything else would fall into the realm of historical commentary or tradition.
Yeah. Yes. So, for example, if I'm making this claim that the Torah was destroyed in time, right? The Quran, I can, for sorry, I'm having a phone call. Can I call you back? Like maybe tomorrow? Is that okay? That's
Let's
that's
see.
best. We can do it
Nah,
tomorrow.
you
Okay.
can't. Johnny's not live
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't.
Okay. I'll call you back. Let me take this call.
Yeah. Go for it. Take it. Johnny, this is not gonna go well for Khan at all.
Yeah.
So
As far as live streams go, I think I'm trying to limit it to one a week
yeah.
on Tuesdays.
So Chad, remember he said he cooked Maverick on this. And I'm like, there's no way he cooked Maverick on this if this is like the struggle.
Young Christian ones without even
The
speaking.
young Christian, you definitely won without speaking.
Yeah, it's like what's that called? Luigi wins without doing anything.
Exactly. Dub, Dub, do you see what I'm saying here with like this whole reductio thing, right? Like he straight up said, like Moses didn't exist. And I'm like, I can use your Quran to say otherwise. And then he's like, no, you can't. That's circular reasoning. I didn't make the claim that Moses didn't exist. He made the claim. I'm just making sure that his claim can actually account for other things, such as the Quran, and they all just fall short. He can't. He's not gonna do well here, and that's actually all I wanted to show, without being belligerent to him. Like, I know that the claims he will make will fall short once you put them up against history, once you put them up against his own sources, Islamically speaking. I mean, even in Islamic literature, it says that the Injil was written down by Jesus' followers, not as hadiths. His followers wrote the Injil. Young Christian, you remember what's his name, Brazilian apologetics? He came in and he was like, the phonemes and the graphemes, and the graphemes are what we have, what his followers wrote. They're not hadiths. The four gospels we have are not hadiths. It's what the followers of Jesus wrote down. History would necessitate and match up with what the Islamic sources say. Mm-hmm. So he has to account for all these claims that he's making, and that's the only thing I need to do. That's my only job here. I just have to weigh up his claims. I don't even have to make a single positive claim to steel man the Islamic dilemma.
Did you say how long he's gonna take? Because
No, I didn't. But look, I mean, this is if you don't wanna keep this going, don't keep it going. It's your platform. You run it. All good.
I mean, we can set something up for next week because it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I mean, at that point, that's when I try to get ready to end the stream. So
No, Johnny, it's fine. You're not like, it's not like incumbent on you. It's not like you're not beholden to anything. This is not a formal debate. It was just a conversation that I wanted to have, because he was being very arrogant, and I'm like, a guy like that cooking Maverick, doing what he did, not even understanding the argument being made, not even understanding the actual critique itself. Like, that's all I needed to show the world. And I'm glad you saw
I
it.
mean, what I could maybe we can wait for him to come back if he can agree to this. We can set up next week because I was gonna review James White versus Dale Tuggy, but I also would love to do like an open panel discussion on the Islamic dilemma. We could also do that. I'm fine with that because I need time to prepare that anyway, and I probably want to do it with people if they're available. So
Yeah, I guess. Like, so it's like almost 1 in the morning for me now. So if you up at the same time next week, Tuesday, then yeah, I could go like until about now for the latest on a Tuesday, I reckon.
so do you have contact with Khan or because that's
No, I don't. I don't have contact with him. What I maybe will just do is I'll see if I can find him. Well, here's the thing. He's most likely gonna show up at some point on like one of Maverick streams. If he doesn't call in, he'll show up in the chat,
okay.
and then we'll set something up.
All right, yeah, because I can't do it unless we have it planned. So if he doesn't, if we don't get it planned, then I'm not gonna set it up, and I'm just gonna do probably the debate review. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming back anytime soon. So
But I guess so. Like Johnny, but did you see what I'm speaking about though? Like the actual like premise that I said and what I was gonna do is exactly what I knew would hold up against these claims.
yeah, I might rewatch this, kind of get some, just listen again. But I think I'm gonna end it here because it's been going on for what, 2 hours?
2 hours, more than 2 hours. Yeah.
2.5. It's a good stream. It's a pretty good stream. I think we got decent amount of viewers. It peaked at like 7, I think.
Yeah, I brought a popcorn crowd. Their smile is haram. That's why. Dab, do you know? I want to say something. Dab, do you know we won a battle with Maverick, and someone came in the chat and they just looked at Johnny's face and they said, "Nah, I'm not doing this. I'm gone." They said, "Turn off your camera." I was like, "What's happening?" One smile from a young Christian and it's over. You lose your willpower.
No, yeah. If you see me smiling in the middle of like a discussion, that means that it's not a good sign, basically. Because dude, that was crazy yesterday. We were laughing. I think some people thought we were laughing at Muslim apologetic. I was laughing because of what he said in the side chat. That
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, we were just laughing in the side chat more than the actual conversation. That was so funny.
I don't even remember how the conversation go when Mother Maverick was kind of talking. I was like, "You see how this guy is?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, still like thinking about, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, next week Tuesday we'll try to do this Islamic dilemma open panel. We'll see what happens. If not, I'm probably just gonna review the debate between James White and Dale Tuggy. I think it'd be nice to give my commentary on that. But other than that, I think I'm going to head out now. Khan, if you're watching, I'm ending the stream now. So if you want to talk,
Show up tomorrow.
reach out to me. Yeah, reach out to me soon because by the time it's like Saturday, Sunday, I'm basically going to decide to do the debate review instead. Yeah, define terms. Yeah. So anyways, I'm heading out now. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Grafted, for tuning in also, and Dub also showed up a few times. I'm heading out now. God bless you all, and goodbye.
Cheers.
Oh, I almost pressed leave studio. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna leave so long, but God bless. See you.